Hi and welcome back. Today I'm going to teach you how to crochet this cute summer backpack with straps. This took me about 2 days to make. This bag is made up of 12 granny squares, flower granny squares. This is not my square pattern, but I will leave a link in the description so that you can find her pattern. I will still show you how to do the squares in this tutorial. I just want to mention that they are not my squares. So you're going to need a couple different materials for this bag. The gray I got from a thrift store, so I can't tell you exactly what it is, but it's like a cord yarn. So it's like, it's not fluffy or soft, it's just like cord. And then for the inside of the flowers, I used an all acrylic yarn, a 4-weight with flowers. I also used 3 different hook sizes for this bag, an 8mm for the granny squares, a 4mm for the pockets and for the top of the bag. And then for the straps, I used a 3mm. So you're going to need 3 different hook sizes, a pair of scissors. So I'm just going to quickly give you the measurements of the bag so you can make alterations if you want the bag bigger. So I made flower granny squares, which they are technically 3 round granny squares because there's 3 rounds in each granny square, but they're not as big as a 3 round granny square. So the squares are 4x4. And the entire bag is about 8.5 inches across because the pockets I put on the sides. It is about 9 inches, 9.5 inches up and down, and the straps are 20 inches. The pockets are 3 inches down, 3 inches across. So I made them a little bit smaller than the granny square pockets so that they could fit on the sides. This strap up here is only 4 inches. So you can make alterations to whatever you want based on how big mine are. So the granny squares are 4x4. So if you want to make them bigger than that, go ahead. You'll just have a slightly larger bag, and you might need to make alterations to this flap up here to make it come down further. Hi and welcome back to Simply Made by Hand. If you are new to this channel, please consider liking this video, commenting, and subscribing. If you want to see specific content or tutorials, please let me know down in the comments below. Let's get into the video. I'm going to start by showing you how to make the granny squares. For the granny squares, like I said, we're going to be using the 8mm crochet hook. You're going to start with a magic circle. Make 8 single crochets into your magic circle. You're going to pull your tail tight and slip stitch to your first stitch. Then we're going to cut our yarn, and instead of fastening off, I'm just going to switch to a different color. You're going to just pull up a loop with the new color. You're not going to chain. She didn't do it this way in the original pattern, but I don't like to chain on my granny squares. I feel it makes them look a little bit sloppy. So we're just going to start off in the first stitch and just do cluster like she did for all the other stitches. So go yarn over, go into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull up yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You're going to repeat that 2 more times into the same stitch. By now you should have 5 loops on your hook, so you just get yarn over and pull through all of those, chain 2. And you're just going to do the same thing in every single stitch. And by the end of this round, you should have 8 petals. At the end of your round, you're going to chain 2 and slip stitch to your first petal. Cut your yarn and fasten off. You're going to make a slip knot onto your hook. You're going to choose any chain 2 space, yarn over and make a standing double crochet. You're going to make 2 more double crochets into that very same space. Chain 2 and make 3 more double crochets into that same stitch. Now we're going to go into our next chain 2 space and you're going to make 3 double crochets. In your next chain 2 space, you're going to make 3 double crochets, chain 2 and another 3 double crochets. In your next space, you're just going to make 3 double crochets. Your next space is a corner again, so you're going to make 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, and then you're going to repeat that around. So you're going to do just 3 double crochets, a corner space, and then 3 double crochets, and slip stitch to your first stitch. Cut your yarn and fasten it off, and all you need to do is make 11 more of these squares, and you're going to sew them together. Here's how I like to do it. I like to position 6 squares all in a line, sew them together, position 6 more squares below that, sew them together, and then sew the already sewed squares together long ways. Then you're just going to connect the 2 ends, fold it in half, connect the 2 ends, and then you will have the bottom and the top both still open on your bag. Next, I'm going to teach you how to do the bottom portion. We are still going to go with our 8mm, and this is a separate piece, so you're going to connect it afterwards. So let's get started on making our bottom piece. For your bottom piece, you're going to make a slip knot and chain 9. You're going to make a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then make 1 half double crochet in every single chain down your row, and at the end of your row you will have 8 half double crochets. Chain 1 and turn your work. Start in that first stitch and make a half double crochet, and then make 1 half double crochet in every stitch. Chain 1 one and turn your work. Make 1/2 double crochet in every stitch. You're going to repeat this same row over and over again till you have 12 rows. Then you can cut your yarn, fasten off, and connect this to the bottom of your bag. So make sure you choose which side of your bag you want to be your bottom and top. And then you're just going to take your bag, and I just did single crochets. I single crocheted the bottom of the bag to my granny squares all the way around. So it's going sideways, so you're going to complete your 12 rows this way, and then single crochet it to your bag or sew it to your bag, however you want to do it. And before you sew that on, I just wanted to mention that I did do 2 rows of single crochet rounds of single crochet around the top of the bag, just to make it look a little bit more complete and filled out. So you can go ahead and do that, or you can leave it off. I also sewed little sides on the square. So what I did is I just pulled this in like this, sewed a little bit on the ends, and left the ends open. You don't have to do that. I just really like the look of it. For this part, you're going to break out your 4mm crochet hook, and there's 2 different ways you can do the flap for the front of the bag. You can either start here and just pick up stitches. You're going to need to make 22 single crochets. So you can just go across here, make your single crochets, and start off that way. Or you can chain 23, make 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you still have 22 stitches, and then you can just sew this flap on later. The directions for the flap are the same no matter which way you do it. So you have your row of single crochets. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, make a decrease over the first stitch, 2 stitches, and then you're just going to single crochet in every stitch across. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn your work and make a decrease over the first 2 stitches and make 1 single crochet in the rest of the stitches. Chain 1 and turn your work, and you're going to repeat the same thing you've been doing for the last couple rows 2 more times for 2 more rows. The next 2 rows are very simple. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, and make 1 single crochet in each stitch for the next 2 rows. going to chain 1 and turn your work. And for the next 4 rows are going to be the same thing. Decrease in the first 2 stitches and make 1 single crochet in the rest of the stitches. Repeat this for 3 more rows for a total of 4 more rows with the same pattern. Now here's for our final row, chain 1 and turn your work. I'm going to count my stitches and then I'm going to make a buttonhole. So you're going to want to pick out the 6 middle stitches so you can make a buttonhole. You're going to slip stitch across till you get to your 6 stitches. Slip stitch into the first of 6 and then I'll show you what to do from there. Now we are going to chain 4 and you're going to skip the next 4 and go into the 5th and slip stitch. Then you're going to slip stitch in the rest of the stitches across. And there you go, there's your flap. So now you can go ahead and sew your flap on. And you can also make a button or use a button. There's so many tutorials for buttons. All I did was make a magic ring and make 6 single crochets and sew it on to my bag, and it turned out to be the perfect size. Now for the handle, that is pretty simple. I just chained the size I wanted for the handle, which was 10. I made a single crochet in every stitch, fastened off, and just sewed it to the middle of my bag. Now for the straps, all you're going to do is, I connected it here at the bottom, started with a row of 5 single crochets, then I made 75 rows of half double crochets, and then I cut my yarn, fastened off, and sewed it to the top. And then for the pockets, that is also very simple. I just chained 11, made 1 half double crochet in every stitch for 7 rows, and just sewed that onto my bag. I also added this tassel, which was optional. I just thought it looked sort of cute. So that is our finished bag, and like I said, this bag only took me about 2 days to make. It took me about 4 hours to crochet this entire bag, but I split it off into 2 days, so I spent 2 hours for 2 days and it was finished. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you like tutorials like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, suggest down in the comments what kind of tutorials and content you want to see next, and I will see you next time.